Dr. Cathleen King teaches neuroscience principles related to trauma and health recovery. This audio is from one of her videos. She talks about some of the impacts that an unsafe childhood can have on our health and choices as adults. See link to her site in the podcast notes.
And it's Dr. Kat again. I want to walk you through something that's often unseen. How the story of your early environment, your childhood biology of vigilance, and maybe care anticipation might have set the stage for chronic illness later in life. I know it did for me. So if you grew up in a household where you had to stay alert, maybe you felt responsible for others, or you just didn't feel safe. Maybe you just always sort of had to feel like you had to watch your back. Then your nervous system might have learned to anticipate danger instead of expecting safety. And you might not have been around a lot of regulated adults. And so guess what? That wiring doesn't go away of being vigilant. It doesn't go away when you grow up. It's how your neurobiological system learned to navigate life. And so let's unpack this. What happens is your biology learns from early life patterns. Your early life from infancy through childhood, your nervous system, your immune system, your internal regulation systems are all developing. And the way that your body learns about safety and threat is deeply influenced by your environment. The research shows that the developing autonomic nervous system, including the polyvagal theory pathways and the cell danger response related wiring, these regulation pathways can all be impacted by anticipatory stress in early life. Meaning if you are constantly waiting for someone to take care of you, or you weren't sure that you would be taken care of, or maybe you were the observer in your family household rather than the one who cared for you, your nervous system might have encoded something like, I have got to stay alert. I can't relax. And this underlying sense of, I am not okay. So what happens is that alert state becomes the default. Your baseline, your system's baseline becomes vigilant and not regulated. And it happens all the way down to the immunological level, affecting your immune system. Your body's constantly scanning. Are we safe? Are they safe? Is the environment safe? And the moment you let your guard down, even a little, your system might kick back into gear of protection, vigilance, and fear. So this was my nervous system. I get it. It's really hard to shift out of it. And it can show up for so many kinds of things like food intolerances, having weird immune reactions, flaring up, feeling like you're getting the flu when you shouldn't be, feeling like you're not fighting infections when you should be, chronic fatigue, autoimmunity, because your immune system is like, we're always in danger, and it loses discernment as to what the real threats are and what it can let go. So remember in earlier videos, we have talked about the vagus nerve being this body to brain highway where about 80% of the signals go from the body to the brain. And when you were in a home where you had to anticipate care or vigilance, your body sent constant signals of, we are waiting for something bad to happen, and we are on guard, and we're restless, we're insecure, we're always scanning. And so the vagus nerve was in this constant flux between trying to moderate, but the signal is just always a sense of not okay, not okay. And over time, there's a lot of inflammation, and then that communication pathway goes offline or it gets confused, and it doesn't quite know how to send that signal of safety back and forth between the brain and the body. So the brain keeps hearing the signal of not safe yet, not safe yet. And so your biology defaults into this ongoing protection mode. Like we talked about, the cell danger response in other videos. Your mitochondria shifts into this low energy making mode, meaning the energy is being used to protect yourself versus to run your body and thrive. And your immune system will stay overactive in some ways, creating excessive inflammation, and underactive in others. And this is where you get certain infections that kind of build up and over immunity in other ways. So the result is chronic illness, and it's a survival strategy. It's the body literally trying to survive the constant state of stress that it's being signaled is happening. I remember thinking that chronic illness meant that my body was broken, it wasn't working right, that there was a breakdown in my system. But actually, I ended up learning that my chronic illness was a strategy that my body adopted when I couldn't get the rest and the signal of safety sent. It was a sense of, I'm going to stay vigilant, I'm going to keep functioning, but I'm not going to detoxify. I'm not going to go into digestion mode because I can't trust the environment that I'm in. And so maybe years later, here you are doing everything right, your diet, taking labs, doing protocols, but your nervous system still thinks, hold on, there's danger. Wait, we can't repair yet. And so this is where you're staying in this ongoing cell danger response loop. So what do you do about it? Here is where the path forward begins. If you recognize this pattern, you can begin to unwind it. We start with orienting and primal trust. So whenever you feel unsafe or triggered, just pause, look around, name 3 things that you see, that you hear, and that you feel that are safe. Tell your nervous system, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm okay in this moment. I see this beautiful couch, it's supporting me. I see this beautiful tree outside, it's green, it's lovely. I see the beautiful picture on the wall. These things feel safe to my body. And ultimately, I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm alive. These are very simple messages of safety that start to turn around that vigilant response that's been going on for years. In addition, we teach vagus nerve toning practices, and a lot of them are super easy to do. Breathing through your belly, gargling, humming. These are all easy ways to send safety signals and interrupt that chronic stress response. Over time, you're making deposits in a bank where you're giving yourself, you're building up the currency of safety so that the overall signaling moves out of that vigilant protection that you've had your whole life and into, even though I'm not quite feeling right, overall I'm okay. That is going to allow your body to move into a healing state. And what you're doing is you're giving yourself the messages of care that maybe you never got. Gentle self-attunement, gentle self-affirmation, sending signals of, it's not perfect, but I'm okay. I can be cared for. I can still survive. So how does this fit into the primal trust journey? Well, in primal trust, this is exactly what we're building, this container of the ability to self-regulate and sense safety. Because if you jump right into trauma work or into deep emotional unpacking without a nervous system that knows how to regulate, you'll flood it, you'll crash it. I did that many times myself. So you go slow and steady, consistency every day, doing vagus nerve toning, a little bit of brain retraining, a little bit of somatic work. And this is all of the things that we teach in our level 1 regulate. And we take it a step further in our level 2 integrate process where we work on those deeper trauma patterns once the container of safety has been built. Our goal in primal trust is that by the end of it, you'll have this ability to feel safety even in a little bit of discomfort. You might have things happen, but you're able to handle it and it doesn't release this 5-alarm fire. You are able to move past your trauma protection patterns. You're able to have this innate okayness, and that is a priceless gift. It's not complicated, but it does take consistency, and it takes a certain willingness to see beyond the lens that you've had to operate from since you were a child, that lens of vigilance and protection. I needed to learn to see the world differently and to re-perceive what I thought were threats everywhere were just simple interactions or simple body processes that didn't mean that the sky was falling. So I'd love to teach you how to reroute this internal signaling system, create safety, and help your body learn how to heal naturally and on its own.
Thanks for listening. See the Creative Mind post for this podcast episode with links to resources and other material.